Well, as I said before, Doug, and you know this, you've been through this as I have, and my father when he was alive as well. We were an unprecedented assault and attack by the New York State Attorney General and by the federal government under the Biden administration. We've come out of that battle. We have a couple of cuts, but we are intact and we have survived. So for those of my listeners and viewers who are not familiar, they may be familiar with the attacks on the NRA, but can you briefly discuss how it is that we survived and remained intact and remained full sovereignty over our organization?
Sure, I would be glad to. Um, I was elected May 20th, 2024. You were there.
Yep.
Um, and jumped on a red-eye flight, got back to NRA headquarters the next day. We were in Dallas, and I flew back to Fairfax, Virginia, and was in the office by 10 a.m. the next day. And within days, I was subpoenaed to appear in New York State Court.
My God.
And much of July of last summer, less than a year ago, I spent many days in the courtroom, and it was the same courtroom that President Trump was on trial,
Yes.
and and the goal for the New York Attorney General, who brought this lawfare suit, was to dissolve the NRA. And if she couldn't dissolve the NRA, she wanted to put a monitor in charge of the NRA. And fortunately for us, we had in my opinion, this is me talking, a fair-minded Judge Cohen, and he decided no, that was not the case. That based on some of the other officers and my testimony, he felt that we could be, I'm just going to say it, we could be trusted to manage the affairs of the association independent of court supervision. Now, we're still registered in New York since 1871. So if we slip, if we fall, if we falter, there's a possibility that could change, but that's not going to happen on my watch. There will be no malfeasance on my watch. And the people that are on our board, like yourself, the staff here, are honorable people. They're hardworking people. We have nothing to hide. We're an open book. And so the lawfare was very damaging. We suffered over $1 billion in what we call negative publicity because, to your point, Niger, the mainstream media is not satisfied with NRA. They understand our political clout, and they're not in agreement with that. But we've withstood a tremendous storm. And as I said, I'm very optimistic for the future. We're having a great day today. It's one day at a time in this business, but I believe that the future is bright.
I couldn't agree with you more, Doug. And on that note, we will conclude this intriguing interview. As I told your staff, your team, Allison, a big that a boy to Allison for helping facilitate this. I will more than likely be in Washington, D.C. at TvAbraham headquarters in a few weeks at the end of June. I would love the opportunity to continue this dialogue and to discuss in that interview your vision, even though we covered some of that today, but to bring it up again in our next interview in person in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us, Doug.
Thank you, Niger, for the opportunity. I look forward to seeing you in June.
Outstanding. Well, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining another episode of Niger Innes Presents the Trump Revolution, a part of the TvAbraham network. We had the pleasure of having Doug Hamlin on, the Executive Vice President of the National Rifle Association. And we're going to sign off as we always do. Doug, in our interview, brought up my late great father, great civil rights icon, Roy Innes, chairman of CORE for many, many decades. And he always said to me, Niger, I want you to live your life with TLC. And no, he didn't mean tender love and care, even though he gave me plenty of that, but he meant truth, logic, and courage. That was what his TLC stood for. That's what I try to stand for. I know that's what Doug stands for as well. And that's the entire platform of the TvAbraham network as well. God bless you all, and may peace be with you until next time.